Hello, this is Jimbo, and as I've said before on my channel, I like to have some variety. So we had a situation with the two horses. Now the one behind me here is a Palomino owned by my buddy Rex, and I board this horse for him. She's in her mid-20s. Her name is Angel. And Joe with his butt to you over there, he's going to be 25 in a couple months. And he had a full-blooded brother that was 4 years older. They were both born on this place, but we had to put him down last fall. So I was feeding them through the winter, and I let it go a little bit too long, but Angel started losing some weight. And Rex and I talked, and we figured we should probably take him in. I had to put him in that horse trailer, you can probably see back there, and go up by Garrettson, South Dakota. Mark and Anna Brownschmidt are both veterinarians, and they specialize in dental care for horses. So the floating of teeth is what they did, and you'll learn what that is in the video. But also got some bad news for one of these two horses. So we ended up having to take one in 2 weeks later. So I'll just let you see what that was in the video, but it's pretty interesting, and we can all learn something and watch a pretty wild process on taking care of horses' teeth. You can see here that Joe's pretty relaxed. The veterinarians have sedated him, got him in position, and letting the sedation take more effect. And shortly here he's going to start explaining the beginning part of the exam and what he's seeing inside of this horse's mouth.
So right away when we first start him, when we slide this across, you can see how we get this elevation right here, that gap in between these teeth, indicating that those cheek teeth in the back are making contact. Got a little bit of that cribbing-like aspect down here in these lower 301 and 401, similar to what Angel had from that rubbing again, probably from somewhere in the feeder standpoint. We've got the little bit longer hooks over here in the corner of the 103 and 203 respectively. Canines on here have a lot of tartar and calculus buildup, but that's very, very common with a little bit of gingival recession. On this lower right side, we'll get that chunked off.
Now, I didn't plan ahead to make a video on this, and that's why I apologize. I did not have him mic'd up, so the microphone on the cell phone camera is what's picking up his voice. And right now he's putting a device on Joe's head. It does not hurt him. He's totally relaxed, but it does open up Joe's mouth so that the doc can get in there and easily do the exam and do the floating of the teeth itself. That light that he's using is pretty bright, and when you're standing there looking at it and he's showing you stuff, you can see it better, but it's pretty bright in this video. Now he's going to use a device to clean out the mouth so he can see everything clearly, and you'll see that he makes a comment about the smell, so you can tell already that there's probably something bad going on in this horse's mouth.
Stinks though. On the mirror itself, I don't know if you can see very good there, Jim, or not, but you can see where it's nice and tight pink area all the way through.
Yeah.
And the teeth itself are tight together, correct? And then we start to see a little bit of a gap there, correct? I don't know if you can appreciate that gap.
A little bit, yeah.
Yep, a little bit of hay stuff inside there. That tooth there looks a bit more black, and throughout the center of it, and the back end of it there looks like there's a little piece on it that's broke off. I'll see if he allows me to be able to get it right in through here. That part of the tooth here is not normal on this upper left side. Okay. But the more crucial thing, I guess, for me is on this upper right side on him is, you see this big gap here and abscess and draining pus coming out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a, that's a bad tooth for sure, without a doubt in my mind. The 9 tooth on this upper right side is completely diseased. It's still stable, it's still pretty solid, but I can see pus coming out of it when I move it around. And so that would be one that, he has to be an x-ray in order to know what's going up there in that root system, but that'll be a tooth that we'll have to look at probably doing an extraction.
This device he's using is a rotary tool, and on the end of it, at 90-degree angle, there's a round disc, and it's about 1 inch to 1.5 inches in diameter, and it has like diamond sandpaper on it. So he's smoothing out the teeth where the sharp parts are, the rough edges, and making it so that the horse can chew properly.
So one of the things I don't know if you can kind of appreciate here on your film, can you see here where my thumb is on the front part of this tooth here? You see that long beak?
Yeah.
That's all excessive growth.
Wow.
On that mesial aspect there. And so we'll make that back flat again, and as long as that tooth allows for it. There's a pulp cavity that lives right underneath there that we'll be very careful not to interrupt.
Mark's wife Anna is a veterinarian as well, and she assists everywhere possible for him, and she is extremely attentive of the horse and monitors the anesthesia, the timing. They were explaining the different drugs that they use for what procedures they need to do on the horse, and try to keep him sedated as little as possible, but just enough.
Mucho better. And so now on these canine teeth here, these fang teeth, like they would be in a dog, they're really non-functional in the gelding. I call them the veterinarian's tooth because they don't really serve a function or a purpose until they become broke off or abscessed, and then we have to go after and extract them. So all we try to do there is just basically just barely round the edges on them. They don't serve any other capacity in a domesticated horse. Anna, can you get my big runger light thing? Where my finger's at, just in front of this first adult tooth.
Okay.
The first major. So that's actually considered the second premolar I'm touching right now. The wolf tooth would live right in front of that as the first premolar, right in that area. And they can also get lower wolf teeth, more rare, but they also can get them down here in the bottom as well. He doesn't have any palpation of either of them on either side. But this big chunk of tartar, kind of a fun deal for the video. You'll be able to see this big piece chunk off. From the calculus, and you can see how red and inflamed it is underneath there from that amount of tartar from him not brushing his teeth each day. It actually, in all reality, it has to do more with the saliva and the pH of it, and how well he moves his tongue over the top of it. So like this lower canine tooth on here, the root on there will extend back past my index finger here, going down deep into that jaw. Wow. That's how much of it is still present down inside there. But that tooth will easily be that long. That dives down into that jaw.
Sure.
Very happy with how we balanced up. I'm very concerned about 3 teeth though. 1 over here in the upper left, 2 over here in this upper right side, those ones that we showed you.
Yep.
So I think we should snap an x-ray of those so we know what we have going on.
So there you have it. That's what it means to float a horse's teeth. And the x-rays at the end were to confirm the condition of the horse's mouth. And as you saw, Joe, the brown horse back here, the sorrel, he had to go back and we extracted a tooth on the upper left and 2 on the upper right. And that'll be a separate video. But the basic process is done and they're eating better. They're able to digest more because they can chew it up more. Trying to get some more weight on the mare. She got a little skinny at the end of the winter here. But anyway, they're doing well, and we'll see what the extraction is like on the next video. So thanks for watching.